right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Nearpod 101 for beginners. We are going to go step by step today. For those of you who want us to go a little slower, this is the workshop for you. Today, I am Debbie Pingle. I'm integration specialist with the Instructional Technology Department. With me, I have Marco Torres and Valentin Guerra. So today, sit back and relax, or split your screen and follow along with us as we build some Nearpod slides. So just for some housekeeping, if you haven't already registered, please make sure you do register with the PD system. One of the guys will put the link for you in the chat. The session number is 248330. Thank you, Valentin. And then the remote check-in is PSJA Tech. So make sure that you do that in order to be qualifying for the door prizes at the end of the session. So make sure you do check in and register. As we go today, if you do have questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat. The guys can ask as I'm going over the Nearpod activities, and they can also help answer those questions in the chat. So the first thing we're going to cover today is the Nearpod library. And we're going to go live. I'm not going to really go through all the slides, but we will share the slides with you at the end. So it kind of shows you a little bit step by step on some of the things that we're going to cover today. And it actually covers probably more than what we're going to cover today. So I'm actually going to go into our Nearpod and just cover some of these activities. So if you go to your Clever portal, that's one way you can get to Nearpod. Or you can go to nearpod.com and log in with your PSJA credentials. It's real easy and clever. Since you're already logged in, it will take you right in to the Nearpod. So the first thing we're going to look at is the Nearpod library. I have a little bit more management because I have the management for the district here. So you won't see all these management tools, but you will see the Nearpod library on this left-hand side menu when you log in with your teacher account. So the Nearpod library is amazing. It has tons and tons of Nearpod activities and videos already ready for you to use. So right at your fingertips, without having to create anything, you have a plethora of information here at, like I said, at your fingertips. There's some different ways you can search in the Nearpod. You can come up here and you can simply type your topic. I was looking for multiplication. Let's say we're doing an elementary multiplication. I can just put multiplication, and of course I can get lots and lots of material here. That's not being very specific, but that's, you know, a wide range search. And I can kind of look. Once you find a video, if you hover over it, you can preview it. So I would recommend previewing it before you add it to your lessons. Make sure it's what you want. There's also a drop down if you're just looking for your lessons. Maybe you have been doing Nearpod for a long time and you have tons and tons of lessons in your My Lesson folders. You can search for a lesson there. I just did all because I'm searching all of the library. You can also, if you come up here to the tab, right now I'm searching all of Nearpod, but if I'm looking for just a lesson or just an activity or a video, I can narrow down that way as well. I can also, let's say I'm just looking for a lesson, I can narrow it down by subject. So if I'm looking for math, I can do that. And maybe I'm looking for third grade math. So you can search and then you can clear those out, those fields, if you're looking for something else. But as I narrowed that down, the search changed a little bit and it gave me the lessons that just pertain to those search fields. Okay, so I'm going to clear that. And there's one other way you can search, which is over here on your right-hand side, and you can actually filter by standard. So if you're looking for a certain standard, of course, we're going to look for Texas, most likely. I can fill in these fields. Again, maybe let's just keep it math today, in third grade today. And then if I want the certain standard, I can scroll through, and maybe I already know what number I'm looking for. I guess we'll stray away from multiplication. Maybe we're looking for algebraic reasoning, and then maybe I can break it down and I'm looking for this one. Okay, well, look, here we got multiplication. So we did get a lesson on multiplication. So again, I can preview or I can add to my lesson. So let's just take this multiplying by 0. That's pretty simple, right? And let's add it to my lesson. So once I click here, after I previewed, like I said, I would recommend previewing. Just for time purposes today, we won't. Now, if I go over back here to my lessons, that lesson is added to my library, basically. Okay, these are all my lessons. So now I can show it right away. If I've already previewed it, I can actually do a live participation, or I can do a student paste where the students do it on their own. But before I do that, I can also edit. So I'm going to go ahead and edit. And I don't want to duplicate the lesson because I just want to change the one I have. Now, if you want to keep that one the way it is, you can actually duplicate it, and it will just make the changes on the duplicate. It will keep the original lesson as is. But the original lesson is in the library, so I'm just going to edit the lesson. Hopefully that makes sense. Now here I have all the slides in this multiplication lesson. So I have some choices. I can add more slides if there's some additional information I want. And I can also delete a slide. So if I didn't want this introduction slide, I could actually delete it. Or if I want to convert it to draw it, makes it very simple. The students then could write on that slide. Maybe I want them to write an additional question on this page. So I can click on this slide and I can convert that to draw it. So you have some, even though this wasn't my lesson, it's created in the Nearpod library, I can come in and I can do all this editing. So that's pretty cool to be able to do that. Once I'm done, then I can save and exit. You always want to save your work. Can also preview it before I do that. And now I've created this lesson that was in the Nearpod library and I've made it my own. And now I'm ready to share it with the students, which we've done a lot of lessons with sharing and all that. So we will just go over it briefly. And then we're going to actually go over step by step how to start your own Nearpod. So there's a couple choices here. I have the live participation. And this is if I just want to show it at the front of the class right now, and I want all the students to be engaged at the same time. If I do that, it's going to give me a join code. And so now the students can go to joinnearpod.com and they can enter this code. Or I can send it to the Google Classroom. So if I click to send it to the Google Classroom, it will share it to whatever classroom I am sharing it to. So we'll share it to the demo, and I can create an assignment. I can just make an announcement, which will announce in the stream. So that's the one I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to go. So now the announcement has been made in my Google Classroom. And once the students log in, they will be able to click on that link. Oh, it does still make it an assignment. Okay, so once I do this, then I do have to make sure that I post it. And I do have to, I guess, announce something. So please do this Nearpod assignment. And I can put the date or whatever on there. And then I'm going to post. So I think that is posting it to the stream. Yes, so it posts it right here to the stream. So it just gives you some options there. That way, if you don't want the students to have to enter that code or go to joinnearpod.com, it's very simple to put that link and then it will take them directly to that activity. So it is very easy to share. You can also just copy the link and post it someplace if you have a different chat for them. Maybe you're using Microsoft Teams chat, you can post it there. So there's some different options. If you want to invite a co-teacher on the link, you can actually turn that on as well. Okay, so that is how we can do a live Nearpod. And I am going to leave the session. So we can go back and look at the student paste. So now maybe there was a student that was absent or a couple students, and I still want them to do this activity. I can actually do a student paste. Now, this lesson has a collaborative board, which doesn't work in the student paste activity. So I can still they just want you to be aware of that. If you do have that kind of activity, that it won't work in the student paste. Okay. Now that's not going to right where I needed to go. So let me go back to my Nearpod. And let me just click on this one. I'm just going to click on a different one for now for purposes that we already had a student pace. Let me click this one. Okay. So when you click on the student pace for the first time, because you can go back and look and get that same code to share with the students if you've made it a student paste. Right here is where if you click on this little calendar, you can actually set the number of days that this assignment will be available. So right now it's available until October 13th. Maybe I only want it to be available until Friday or next Friday. We'll just make it next Friday. So I can apply this changes. So now there's only 9 days remaining. Again, I can share it to any of these different avenues. And I can require student responses to prevent skipping. I don't want them to skip any of the pages. I can turn this on. If I leave it off, that means it will allow them to skip. And you don't probably want that, but there might be a time where, you're okay if they skip some parts. So that's going to be the teacher prerogative. Okay, so again, I can give this code to the students to join, or I can share a link with them. And now they're going to do this on their own. It's like an individual activity. Are there any questions so far as we've covered the Nearpod library and how to share your Nearpod?
Nothing on the chat, Debbie.
All righty. So we're going to go ahead then, and we're going to do a step-by-step of actually creating a lesson. Unless Marco or Valentine, can you think of anything I skipped for the Nearpod library that we need to add?
No, just remind them that there's some libraries as district libraries already that were created by some of the curriculum department.
Yep. So right here, there is a district library as well. So we have an elementary. You can see there's 316 activities in here. The high school has a few. The middle school has a few, 135. So if you click on those activities, you can see the math added quite a few by grade level. So you can come in and see those activities. And most likely these are in your curriculum that you have. So they have shared that here in the district library. So if they're asking you, like in your curriculum, go to the Nearpod district library, this is where you will find that information. Thank you, Val. That was a good thing to point out. All right.
You're welcome.
So now I'm actually going to leave Nearpod because I prefer to create lessons in Google Slides. Now, however, you can create right here in Nearpod. So if you want to create your own from scratch, you can create right here a lesson, a video, an activity, or you can go to Google Slides. Now, the reason I'm going to go to Google Slides is any content that I add here in Nearpod, like if I create a lesson here, it stays in Nearpod. So someday down the road, 5 years from now, PSJA decides not enough people are using Nearpod, we're not going to purchase it anymore. I lose that content. Now, if I created it in a Google slide, I'm still going to lose the Nearpod interactive activity. But if I have content that I need in the slide, the content will still be mine and it will still be in my Google Drive on my Google slide. That's why I like to start there. Basically, you can do the same thing in Nearpod, and it will actually take you to Google Slides. So if I can click here to go to my Google Slides, or I can start from my Drive, either one. I'm just going to go open a new tab, and I'm going to start in my Google Drive. I like to keep things organized. So maybe I have a folder for webinars here. So in this webinar, this is where we, create those folders. So you can start here. I'm just going to put it in my Drive. I'm going to add a new Google slide. I didn't put this in a folder right now. So here I have my Google slide. Now there's fun Google Slides, like slidesmania.com is really fun. It has a lot of, it's in fact the one that we use today, the black background with all the paint splashes came from there. So you can find some cute backgrounds if you're doing something, that you want more appealing. Right now, we're just going to stick with our regular slide. We can come over here. We can select a theme that they have. They don't have as many, of course, that are as cute, but here's some over here. So we'll just click. In fact, I don't like many of these. Well, I guess we'll click this one for today. And this is where I'm going to add my content. We'll call it sample today, or actually, you know what? Let's just call it math. That way we'll stick with that math theme today. And then I can just build my slides. So this is just your slides. I can make a new slide and I can add content. So any content that I have. So maybe I'm teaching a lesson and then I want to have some Nearpod activities interjected. So maybe I just have some math definitions here. And we won't add all that, but we'll put that on that slide. And I think I just deleted it by accident. Sorry about that. So now we're actually going to open up Nearpod. So in Google Slides, if you come up to the menu bar and go to add-ons, this is where we're going to do the add-on right here, Nearpod. And I'm going to open with Nearpod, and that you should already see that on your computer. So if any of you would like to do step-by-step with us, feel free to split your screen and do this on one side if you'd like. So once I open up Nearpod, now I have all the Nearpod activities that I can actually add in to my Google slide. So we're just going to start today. Let's, I guess, start with a drag and drop. And all I do is click on it. And if I'm going too fast or too slow, let me know. If somebody's following along and you need slow, that this is for beginners, so I don't want to go too fast for y'all. So just let us know. Okay. So now automatically it opens up the Nearpod library right here on my right-hand side. So I can actually, again, look in the library if I want to add something from there. But I'm going to close that because we're creating our own for right now. So it is pretty self-explanatory of what you need to do. And this looks like it's a little muffled actually today. It looks like some of the instructions aren't quite where they usually are. I'm just going to close that one time and see. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi settling in. There we go. That looks better. I don't know why it was coming out all muddled on the other one. This is what it's supposed to look like. So this is kind of a template that will help guide us to make a drag and drop. Okay, over here, we're going to select drag and drop activity. Okay, we can add images or we can add labels. So labels would be like your words. Up here, I can add a description. This is just our little toolbar, our basic toolbar. So I'm going to keep that. So I have to click on it to go back. Here's where I'm going to type my directions. drag the picture to the correct answer. I'm not quite sure what we're building, so we'll just put that there. And of course, you can be more specific. You can see, I think you can type up to 1,000 characters. So you can have as much direction as you need. Now, I'm going to also, you can add an image or audio or media. This would be bringing something in from the outside. And I can actually close up the instructions as well once I'm done with that. I'm not going to add any media, I don't think, right now. This is all your answers. Now, if I add audio recording, does it let me put it right here? Some of them do and some of them don't. This is one that you are attaching. So see. It attached an auto recording. I don't know where it found that, but it didn't. I did not add one, so I'm not sure what it attached. That's crazy. I think it's working quite the way it was supposed to right now today. So you can record the directions for the students on some of these apps. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some images. Also going to add a background. I'm going to erase that. Oh, it still didn't do the audio. Okay. And how come it's not letting me add the background? Come. I'm going to try that one more time, guys. That's how technology works some days. Let's go ahead and add some images. So on our images, you can add from your own drive or your own, computer from your Google Drive. This I think is Dropbox, which we don't have, and maybe you'd have it on your personal. And then of course, OneDrive. So I have a little folder saved in my pictures here. Nearpod. So if you have pictures that you already want used, I would recommend having like a folder for that with everything already saved. Now you can also find pictures from the web, which works nicely. Here's my Nearpod clips. Maybe I want to add like a little counting bear. And you can change the size to small, medium, or large. And I just make it large, I guess. And now that's added. Now over here, so I don't have to add 100 bears. I actually can have unlimited copies turned on. So that works out nicely when you need something like that, like a counter. Now, if I only want them to use one, I can turn that off, and then we have that ready to go. Now, usually I would have a background to add, and I'm not seeing on this one why it's not allowing me to have a background. We'll have to keep looking.
Yeah, it seems a little off today.
It's
I mean,
off, right?
like even I would notice like things aren't loading correctly when you're.
No, because I'm like, usually there's like a little place to add your background so you can actually, drag and drop your little things over there.
Mhm.
So I don't know why that's not showing up on the drag and drop. I'm going to try it one more time. Of course, stuff like this happens when you're doing a training. It's a mystery to us some days. If we don't see it, we'll move on to a different type of lesson and see what we can see there. In the slides that I'm going to share with you, we do have some step-by-step on how to do not every activity, but several of the activities. It looks like it's taking a long time to load today, more so than usual. So it just could be finicky today. It's not liking us today. And I'm not patient. Too long. Okay, let's try a different activity. Let's try a draw it today. Draw it is pretty cool because you can actually add any, like a PDF or any kind of background, and it will allow the student then to write on it. So here I can upload a background image. So if I have an image saved of like a document, let's see what I have over here. I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Let's do this ant, and then we're going to have the students label like the parts of the ant. Okay, so here's my image. Now I can increase the size, decrease the size a little bit, however you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Something went wrong. Yeah, it's acting up today, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's go over here and let's add the instructions. So we can add instructions. A lot of the lessons have a timer. So maybe as the activity is going, you want the students to have 2 minutes to label the insect. And you can, of course, change that time, add more or less as they need. You don't have to use a timer on the slide, but if you do, then it will definitely, they will run out of time. Now, if I wanted to add an image or some, like a little video on ants or parts of the ant that the student watched first, I can add that here. Okay, and the instructions and the student view is the same. They always have this drop-down menu for instructions, and then the instructions will slide up. Sometimes they're like, oh, I can't see the whole picture. Well, they can just close the instructions. Let's see if it lets us save it now. So draw it is very simple. Now on the student side, which we have showed in many sessions, the students will get those tools, and now they can just take those, the pen tools, the crayon tools, they can, draw little arrows, and they can label the parts of the ant. And you can be more specific on this draw it. We could have added lines where the students had to write in the words, that type of thing. So you can kind of create whatever works in your favor. So it's pretty simple to follow. And now let's maybe have a new slide, and maybe we have more content here. Put a text box. Okay, and so you could have added, another content slide. And then I can go to a new slide. And now I want to add a different activity. Let's see. Let's do a matching pair. So a matching pair is where you're going to take like a picture and a word to match them up. Or two pictures. Okay, so here I can add a pair. So I can enter text if I want to. Maybe I might work if I do like a multiplication fact. So 5 times 3 equals, and then over here I can put the answer. And so now I can keep building. Now I could have added pictures. Now where did it go? Oh, guys, this is crazy today. What is happening to Nearpod today? As you can see, sometimes technology is finicky, but we don't give up. We keep trying. I don't know if it's the time of day, there's a lot of activity, or it's just going slow. It didn't look like it saved my other pair. Let's try it again. So we can do that. So add another pair. Maybe I clicked done instead of add another pair. Could have been a user error. Let's just do 5s for now. 5 times 2 equals 10. You get the gist. And we'll do one more. So you don't always have to use images. You can definitely use text. And now we're done. Okay, so let's see. Now we can change my directions. Okay, and then we can preview it if we'd like. So this is what the student's going to see. And of course, they're going to find the question and pair it up with the answer. And if they get it correct, it gives them, I'm going to get one wrong so you can see it gives them the wrong answer. So you kind of get to see the student view on this slide, which is nice. I can also add a timer again. Maybe I want them to do this in seconds, 30 seconds. And I'm going to save. So each slide is very similar on adding the different elements in the Nearpod with the timer. And it's really not too tricky to figure out each of the different activity types. Is there a certain activity that anyone here would like to see? We can probably have enough time to build like one more activity.
Yeah, there's other activities, guys, like fill in the blank. There's virtual VR field trips. There's fill in the blank.
Yeah, I mean, there is a ton. It's just you kind of have to come in and play with it. And if you need help building a certain one, we can help you. And like I said, we do have some step-by-step in the slides that I'll share with you after the session today. And I'm not going to build them all because they are similar. I mean, they're not all exactly the same. But we just wanted to go a little more step-by-step today. But if there's a certain one that someone wants to know, we can go over one more. Otherwise, I think we'll go over the fill in the blank, maybe. Anybody? Memory is kind of fun. That's if you remember the game Memory, you actually have 2 pictures of the same picture. And then, of course, you have to turn them over on the board and find the matching ones. And so that's pretty easy to create. Let me just create that one super quick. Now you can already have pictures or you can find pictures on the web. So here I can just click on the image. Memory test, let's see, images. Okay, I've done this before. And where is it? I guess it wants me to search right here for an image. So let's search for, what do we want to match today? Insects, maybe ants. Okay, so here's an ant. Aha, this is it, I remember now. So I just drag it over once and it comes over. So maybe we just want to stick with the ant theme, or I can do different insects, but since we're on ants, we'll just do these. So it's pretty simple once you have your images, and you can have, I think only 6 sets for this one. And of course, we probably wouldn't do all ants, but we'll do that one for today. And then you can also have a final question, which might be one about the certain type of ants, or you don't have to have a final question. So that one's pretty easy to set up on just searching for your image. So you can also browse your own files if you have pictures that you want to make a memory. Now I know that has nothing to do with multiplication on this one, but it's quick and easy to make a memory test or a memory activity. I'm not going to go over it today. Time to climb is very popular. It's kind of a game-based competition. I will go over the fill in the blank before we end today. And of course, any questions you have, if you need help setting up a Nearpod, if you need more step-by-step, Valentine, Marco, and I can come and we can meet with you and we can definitely help you with that. So here you can type or paste a text up to 1,000 characters. So I'm just going to come out and we're going to, I guess we switch to ants now. So I'm going to look for information on ants. National Geographic is good. Of course, you would have, searched all this ahead of time. You don't want to subscribe. Oh, it won't let me do that one. Okay. So we are just going to take fun facts for kids. And we're just going to grab this paragraph. Now, of course, we would have thought this out. Of course, we're not just going to be, I guess I'm back on my slide. Sorry. Okay. And we're going to paste that information there. Okay. Now you can change the fonts and the backgrounds. You want to make it something readable for the students. So you have a little flexibility. You can see not too much, but you have a little bit. So we'll go with the blue. And then you can go on to the next. Now here, all you're going to do is you're going to click on the words that you want to add to the word bank. So we're going to say ants are frustrating, species. So whatever words you're adding to your word bank, colony, queen, laying eggs, and you're going to pick, whichever words, right? And then you're going to be done. So now when the students see this activity, they are going to actually have to drag those words that you just clicked on into the fill in the blank. And we don't see a preview unless we go actually have you do the activity, which I'm not going to do that today. So let's say we've added all the activities we want. We have all our content in this slide. I guess it's math and ants now, two separate topics, but we'll put it that. Now, when you're done, you're going to convert. You're going to come over here to the right-hand side and convert to draw it. No, you're going to save and go to Nearpod. This is going to take the slide, the Google slide we just made, and it's taking it over to my lessons in Nearpod. So right now it's here and it is saving. Now I can come in and I can edit still anytime. And when I do edit it, it's going to take me out back to my Google slide. Or I can do the live participation with the students. But our time is almost over. So it is almost 5. So we won't do that today. But that's pretty much building a Nearpod lesson. It's not difficult. Like anything else, it takes a little bit of time just to go step by step. And if there's a certain activity that you need help with, let us know. Like I said, I will share the slides with you today, which does have some step-by-step directions on it. But just get in and try it. I think once you do that, you'll get more comfortable with creating your own lessons. But if anything else, if you don't have time to create lessons, which I know teachers, your time is precious, use the Nearpod library and you'll probably find something that's already been created that might work with your lesson. So that's it. Is there any questions? Don't leave because we're going to have a door prize drawing.
No, thank you.
Hopefully, this was for beginners. We will do some that are a little more advanced if anybody is advanced. And already like a Nearpod Pro. We'll have some more sessions throughout the year, but thank you so much for coming. I am going to turn it over to the guys with the claw. So unless we have anything else. Let's see.
Cool. Let's get this rolling. Do you
Let's
have it
get
on,
some
Marco? Do you
door
want me? Oh,
prizes.
you'll have it ready, Marco. Perfect.
I got it. How many?
Well, first we have to get a list of presenters. Does anybody have that?
There's
we
only
ha-
3.
There's 3.
Attendees.
Okay, well then that's easy. Okay, perfect. So Marco has out the claw. And we're going to do for door prizes.
Okay, so thank you guys for being here, ladies and gentlemen, and we will. Are we gonna do 1, 2? What do you think, Debbie?
We'll do 2, but then the third person's got to get something too if there's only 3 people here.
Let's just
Okay.
let's just give it all to them with 3 little prize
You know
packs because
what?
they showed up.
Yeah.
All 3 of you are getting a prize pack. How does that sound?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
We are in agreement.
Cool. Abraham, Marisol,
Yay.
and
We
Ms.
don't need the
Castillo, we
claw.
will send you
So
a prize pack
Abraham
to your
and
campus.
Maria and Marisol, you're all
All
getting
right,
a
thank
prize pack
you.
today.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys were so
Bye.
quiet.
Trying
Taking
to
notes.
learn at the same time as we're trying to plan. Yes,
Well,
thank
thank you
you.
so much. This was basic today, so hopefully